And here we go. This is we're talking getting in the game over the past 3 weeks. We looked at if you missed the first 3 weeks, I did send out an email to everybody on Saturday. I'm not sure if you got it or not. I've been having trouble sending group emails with my provider, with my the people that do my hosting. So I'm not sure if you got the group email I sent out on Saturday with the links to all the webinars so far on YouTube and the material. So if you're new to this call today, just email me at thecoach@smallbusinessbigideas.com, and I'll email you all the stuff you missed so far for the first 3 weeks. This is week 4 of the 6-week series, and we're looking at selling, obviously. We've looked at knowing yourself, knowing your niche. We looked at warming up the sales call. We're going to look at developing a good sales action plan. Hey, Terry, welcome back. Terry McCann's on the line. Selling is a good conversation, overcoming some of the fear, the importance of asking good questions, don't give up, stay in touch, and of course, building relationships. So we're kind of working through a 6-step sales process that allows you to sell in a consultative style. It takes some of the edge off of having to push so hard. Welcome, Lisa, I notice on the call, and Terry, thanks for joining us. So the 6-step sales process starts with research, and we talked about that in the first week or so, first 2 calls, and researching the marketplace, understanding your industry in and out, understanding what's going on for your clients, trying to get as much sort of background information on your clients. So when you have a sales conversation, let's say it's a cold call or you're at a conference or you're networking, that conversation now becomes a bit more compelling because you understand where the clients are at, where they're coming from, what some of their key issues and challenges are. So that helps you connect in a more profound, compelling manner with your clients. So we talked about research is the first step in the sales process. You really want to understand how your industry can totally benefit and help your clients. You also want to understand and get into your client's world a little bit too. Then we looked at prospecting, talk it up. That's the next step in the 6-step sales process. So you got to be doing a little bit of cold calling, networking. We're going to talk about social selling a little bit today. And that's how you get interest from clients through your social media sites, like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So we're going to, it's really important to be, prospecting, talking it up, connecting with people, getting that first meeting. When I make a cold call, or if I'm at a networking event, or if I'm at a conference, even if I'm at a trade show, I have a booth at a trade show, and that's, purely selling. I don't sell. I want to understand. I want to book that first meeting, or what I call a discovery session, and go and meet the person first, meet the client first, and see, where is their fit, where is their possibility, what are their needs and their wants and desires, and to see if I can help them achieve what they want. What are their goals even? So that's the first meeting. So this is part of the 6-step sales process for those new on the call today that we've been talking about. And then the 4th step is to work on and deliver your presentation, where you might have to overcome some objections, negotiate a little bit, do the work, do the work. You get the work, hopefully you get the job, you close the deal, and then follow up. Really important to continue the follow-up process. So welcome everybody, Happy New Year. Let's get into it now. I just want to find out, did anybody make any sales goals over the holidays? Anybody make any sales goals? Just shout out, yes, I did. Like, targets. What do you want to sell, right? How much do you want to make this year? Really important maybe to do that a little bit, right? Yeah, Shelley says yes, some rough estimates, and Azita says yes, and Nadia says yes. Really important to set some sales goals. Jacqueline, way to go. You said yes too. How about any business resolutions? Any business resolutions, things you're going to do more of or less of, or change up? Any business resolutions? Things you're going to vow off of? I will not work for free this year. Yeah, somebody's laughing. You can share my pain. Um, did you establish any new initiatives, directions, product or service launches over the holiday? Anybody do that? Some rough estimates, Mike says. Working on it still, Maddie. You're working on your resolutions still. I know we all are. It is a work in progress for sure. So that's great. Really good time of year to do a couple of things this time of year. First, it's a great time of year to sort of set some goals and initiatives and do some planning and really get clear on the direction you want to take, at least for this first quarter and throughout the rest of the year. So remember, goals are what? They're dreams with a deadline. Really important to think, like, how many calls and contacts do you think it takes to get an appointment with a client? You've got to make about 20, not 20. I'm looking at the wrong number. You've got to make about 10 to 11 contacts or calls or connections with a client before you actually get yourself in the door to see them. So a lot of business owners, we stop at about 5, right? After 5, we kind of go, oh man, the pain, nobody's calling me back. So just be mindful, don't stop. Watch the story you tell yourself, because it could impede on the goals you have, right? It could impede on the goals you have. So watch that mental chatter that tells you, oh, this is painful, this hurts, I can't go on anymore. Nadia says we do 90% of our sales on the phone, so we're not trying to book appointments per se. That's good. Well, okay, all right. So or maybe you book a phone appointment too, right, Nadia? Possibly. So really important. Just be mindful that the goals you're setting, don't let the negative voices get in the way of you achieving them, because boy, can they ever. I'll tell you actually a little bit of it was a bit of a funny story. This is for some of you that are new on the call. My background is in training and coaching, and I work a lot with small business startups. But about, I guess it was in 2002, I started a project known as a radio show, right, for small business. It's called the Small Business Big Idea Show. And when I started it, I started actually from nothing, from total scratch. And I live in North York, and I did the show out in Durham region on a radio station out there, because I was one of the only stations that would take a chance on somebody who'd never hosted a radio show before. So I had to buy the airtime and then resell it to advertisers. And I made about 125 cold calls to get 5 yeses. So there was a lot of rejection, a lot, believe me. 120 people said no to me. And boy, that mind chatter, oh, it just almost stopped me from moving forward. And I remember once bargaining, I don't want to get religious on you here, but I was bargaining with God or the universe, whatever, and I was yelling up to the skies, come on, help me out, I just got my 10th no in a row. And then the next call, what I do is I develop a contact list of companies and organizations I wanted to call that I thought would be good clients or possible advertisers. And the next call, I swear on my life, was to the Dunbarton Fairport United Church in Pickering. And so here I am pleading with God. And the next call was to Reverend Glenn Brown at the Dunbarton Fairport United Church to talk to him about advertising on my small business talk show. And you're wondering, why would a church advertise on a small business talk show again? Well, he ran what was called the Ethics Group. It was a training program for companies talking about ethics in business. And so on one hand, I'm bargaining with God, then I'm talking to a man of God, and sure enough, he bought some advertising. So you just got to watch that mental chatter, because it can really stop you from succeeding. All right, just thought I'd share that. So heating up the cold call. So that's one of the things we have to do, right? In sales, we got to network, we got to connect with people online, we've got to, schmooze a little bit, work our referrals. But one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do a little bit of cold calling. And I just want to share this study about cold calling. Cold calling in sales is about reaching out with confidence to someone you don't know. And a lot of us, and you can raise your hands or voice your opinions here, Probably don't really like to do that, especially calling somebody cold that you don't know. It's not the most comfortable feeling. But I'm going to help you a little bit today to kind of get over that and prepare in case you do. I like to do a little bit of cold calling in my overall marketing and outreach. I find it does help, and I find I do get clients from doing it. So I find it does work. Yeah, Terry McCann says, I hate it. Yeah, so I'm going to help you a little bit with that today, Terry. Contact has to be established, though, somehow, and many, business-to-business sales teams still utilize cold calling within their existing sales strategy. However, here's the study. 97% of cold calls are ineffective, according to the IBM Buyer Preference Study. You can look that up online, and that's the latest data. So how do you even start a conversation? The elemental truth is that social selling and cold calling are not polar opposites. So social selling is the selling you're doing online, by posting something relevant on your on Twitter or LinkedIn. You write an article, or you're engaging in groups, you're engaging in conversations with targeted groups, the kind of people that you want to sell to, right? Maybe it's a relevant post on Facebook that gets people's attention and interest in and around what it is you do in your business. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your conversations with people, your social selling, is engaging, right? It engages in them. It gets them to think and to to act and to want to engage with you. So by definition, social selling is simply the process of helping social buyers become customers using social media. So, what we're doing is we're all trying to, to get our potential customers to know, like, and trust us. And that's what you have to do. That's the angle you have to take, whether you're doing selling online or social selling, or you're selling, directly. You're doing, the old cold call, or you're networking. You have to build likability and trust. That's what's going to drive customers to you. So how do you build trust? You come up with relevant content, relevant ideas, relevant facts, figures, studies that get that where your customers are seeing you in action and they're going, oh my God, they really do know what they're talking about, right? So in order to do this as a salesperson, you need to learn new ways to reach prospects through their own social networks, and to create and share valuable content, and ultimately to grow your personal brand. So that's the challenge. There's a resolution you can take on this year. I'm going to create content. I'm going to share it regularly on social media, and I'm going to work on growing my personal brand. How many of you are committed to taking that on this year in 2016? Anybody? You can comment if you want. I've had to mute a few of you just due to the background noise. I want to welcome Helen and Ira and who else just joined? Lisa, Philip, welcome. So this is something I really encourage you to take on this year. And Mike says he's already started on some content, and Terry McCann says the same thing as well. So really important to build a bit more of your online presence, but strategically, okay? Strategically. Karen says one of her resolutions this year is to blog and share knowledge. Exactly. And so social selling and cold calling kind of go hand in hand. As a matter of fact, if you're really good at your social selling, you don't really have to do cold calls. They won't be cold calls. They'll be warm calls. I'm just going to show this video. I showed it a couple weeks ago. I know we have a few new people. And this is a video. I hope this works. It's embedded into the session here today. And this is Sally Hogshead talking about one of the threats of cold calling and what you've got to do in order to really get the response you're looking for. This is about a 3-minute video called You Only Get 9 Seconds. Here goes. Hope it works.
The BBC just released a report. Because of the internet, the addictive nature of web browsing left us with an attention span of 9 seconds, which is the same as a goldfish. So what this means is that your customer, your producer, the people that you're trying to attract as employees, the companies, the relationships that you want to be with an attention span of 9 seconds, which is the same as a goldfish. So what this means is that your customer, your producer, the people that you're trying to attract as employees, the companies, the relationships that you want to be able to keep, they're goldfish. Our attention spans used to be 20 minutes long when we lived on the farm. 20 minutes long, 1 minute for every year that we are old. But then, over time, our attention spans got shorter and shorter and shorter. And then came along a little thing named the internet, which brought our attention spans down to this measly 9 seconds. So how can we compete in this 9-second world? This means you have 9 seconds when you're talking to a potential new customer or your existing customer. They're so distracted by everything that's going on between the emails and your competitors who have a nasty habit of trying to get their attention and all the other things that are going on in their world, that you only get 9 seconds before their brains are going to try to decide whether or not they're going to pay attention. 9 seconds. You get 9 seconds to make an impression. Raise your hand if you think that's scary. I think it's scary. A commitment can't happen in 9 seconds. A relationship can't happen in 9 seconds. You will rarely get a customer in 9 seconds. It takes more than 9 seconds. But 9 seconds is how long it takes to make an introduction. You introduce yourself in the course of 9 seconds all the time, every day. 9 seconds. At a cocktail party, in an email, in a PowerPoint, in a telephone conversation, in an IM. 9 seconds is how much time we give to each other. And then if you can make that first 9 seconds work for you, if you can harness it, if you can communicate your value immediately, then you get to get the rest of it. So think of it almost like a doorway. There's this doorway here. And on the other side of the door are all the things you want. The sales you want, the relationships you want, the customers you want, the employees you want, the relationship with your coworkers and your boss. It's all over there on the other side of the door. But the problem is the way our brains are becoming hardwired is that we only get 9 seconds to knock on that door. You get 9 seconds to knock on the door, and then if you knock in the right way, if you knock in a persuasive and influential way, the door opens and you can go through it. And it's then, once you're through the door, that relationships happen and love happens and commitments happen and sales happen. But in order for you to get from there over to here, that's what I want to teach you today.
Yeah, so that is Sally Hogshead, and she wrote a book called Fascinate. And according to her, you got to fascinate when social selling, not only when you're online, but also when you're having conversations with your customers. She says the world is not changed by people who sort of care. You've got to bring your passion to the table. In a competitive environment, and how many people are feeling it's competitive out there these days? In a competitive environment, she says, the most fascinating option always wins. Stand out or don't bother. Own your uniqueness this year ahead. She says you can be comfortable or outstanding, but not both. What are you going to choose this year? Forget what your business card says. You're an entrepreneur. You know, we're dreamers. We're visionaries. We make things happen. Live in verbs. Verbs are action words. Try and live in verbs. Passion is the ultimate way to add value to your clients. And lastly, she says, if you're not eliciting a negative response from someone, you're probably not fascinating anyone. And that kind of borrows on Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, I'm sure all of you know, says that people do things for 2 reasons. This is what governs our life and our buying decisions. The 2 reasons are we avoid pain or get pleasure. So, you know, sometimes when you're talking about somebody's pain, you're going to have to upset them a little bit. You're going to have to remind them of the pain they're in with their current reality So that'll get them to switch and buy from you. And that's kind of what, fascinating people is all about. Get your clients thinking. There's the book. I really recommend it. And she talks about the 7 triggers of fascination. And there's 7. There's power. Who does power really well in terms of marketing and advertising? Who does power? What companies do power? And I've got a question on the question channel here. Terry writes, avoid pain or get pleasure, Terry. So we want to avoid pain or get pleasure. And if you can show your customers, you're either a pain reliever, right? You're like a Tylenol in your business, where you've got an answer to someone's challenges and problems, or you've got something fun and exciting and pleasurable to share. So, you want to decide, where you fit in all that. So these are the triggers for fascination. The first being power, command your category. Who does that really well? Any companies that come to mind? Power? Probably like, Ram trucks. Those truck ads? Ram tough, right? Guts, glory, whatever. That's a powerful message, right? That commands attention. I wouldn't even buy a truck, but that gets my attention. What about prestige? Prestige is another way that you can craft your marketing message and your brand and build fascination among your prospects and clients. Who does prestige really well? Anybody that comes to mind? Prestige, where you increase respect. Any ideas? Can everybody hear me? I think so. I hope. Prestige. Probably like Amex, travel, that kind of thing. What about Mystique? Who's using the Mystique way to fascinate customers, where they arouse your curiosity? Who does that really well? Anybody? I hope you're all there. It's really quiet on the line right now. Passion is another way to elicit a response with emotion. Mystique, to me, maybe some of the perfume companies are there's a bit of mystique there. Passion, who does passion really well? Any ideas, thoughts? Nike. Yeah, Nike, Mike. And Terry was thinking perfume. Apple, James, thanks. Apple does passion for sure. What about alarm? Creating urgency and need. I hate to say it. I was watching City TV, CP24 this morning, before this started. The reason being is, I wanted to get the lowdown on the weather and the traffic and everything, because I got to leave once this class is done. And Russell Oliver's Jewelers, he creates a bit of a sense of urgency and need, I buy your jewelry, right? And even his ads are like, all about alarm. They're alarming. It's like, oh man, if I need money or I need a car. And now he's doing car loans. So, that's a bit of an alarm. What about rebellion? Who's changing the game? What about like Uber? Right? They've kind of changed the game a little bit. Apple would too. Acorn stair lifts for alarm. Yeah, you don't want to fall down and hurt yourself. They do it they also tap into someone's pain, but also pleasure. Oh yeah, Virgin Mobile and the Virgin labels rebellion. James writes, Terry writes Acorn stair lifts. Yeah, so just watch some of the ads you see, or the ads you read in the newspaper, and see if it borrows on these 7 areas of fascination. The last one is trust. Who does trust really well? Banks probably. Yeah, Banks. Terry and James both wrote Banks. Guys, we're thinking alike this morning. That's scary. Yeah, so this is what you kind of have to look at: your brand, your image, and where do you want to be? Are you going to Are you going to be about power, prestige, mystique, passion, alarm, rebellion, trust? Are you going to be a combination of a few? Mike writes insurance companies. Totally. You don't trust them. You're not going to buy their services, right? So how can we build clients and warm up the cold call process? Any ideas? How can we warm up the process? So we talked about social selling, using your social media outreach to educate your clients, to engage them in conversations, to get them to want to, talk to you, to get them thinking. And then we just talked about ways to get them thinking, the 7 triggers to make yourself fascinating. James is starting a cleaning business, so trust is huge. Totally. Because, James, like someone you don't even know is going to come into your home or office and do the cleaning. They got to trust you. You're almost like family. Mike is using his Facebook fan pages to build trust and communicate. Mike, good job on that. That's excellent. So any other ideas to build, warm up the cold call process? So maybe you don't even have to do them. Maybe you can get to the point where, you can limit those dreaded cold calls. Nadia's working on it still. Maybe doing a rough estimate. There's a few things you might want to look at this year. Can you speak? Can you speak for a half an hour about your business and what makes you fascinating and interesting? Do you like to write? Where can you write? Can you write in other publications? Can you write on blogs? Right? Linda's saying I post testimonials on the website. Matthew says I use LinkedIn to build trust. Or I do an email followed up by a phone call. Excellent. That was Mike. Maybe network, join a different networking group this year. Have a bit of a strategy involved. Don't just go to the same old networking group. Work your referrals. Ask your existing customers for referrals. If every customer you had gave you at least one referral, do you know you've just doubled your sales? It's that simple. Sell more. Do what Rogers does. Bundle your products, right? Bundle. So, or what McDonald's did a number of years ago. They doubled their sales by asking one question. Anybody know what that was? Do you want fries with that? And they did. They almost doubled their sales by just asking that question. Do you want fries with that? James O'Connor writes, I do face-to-face as much as I can. That's excellent. I find when they see me, they feel more of a connection than a phone call. The Chamber of Commerce, I'm going to check out to go to and to network. Excellent. Yeah, so referrals, work your referrals. Ask your happy customers for referrals. Sell more. Make sure your customer service is outstanding so people would want to comment about you. Seth Godin, author and business expert, writes that you want to be remarkable in your customer care. You want to be so good that people will remark about you, right? You're worth remarking about. Be able to encourage others to remark about you. He actually writes that in the Purple Cow book that he came up with several years ago. And of course, use your social selling. Use your time online more strategically this year, because boy, it can be a time suck. So be more strategic. And my goal for you would be to master one. If you just mastered LinkedIn and or Facebook or Twitter, just master one before you try and master 2 or 3, because it's really hard to manage. So master one. So these are ways to warm up your prospecting, your client development, so you don't have to cold call so much. Any questions at all? Comments? Are you guys learning stuff, I hope? All right, let's continue on. Let's forge ahead. We have a question. Yes, Linda, good. I'm glad you're learning, Linda. Excellent. So if you're going to, use social media a little bit more this year, here are some success factors that will help you. First of all, prioritize the order of your cold calls by performing research on the prospect, using social media before the call. Check out your prospect's latest tweets and posts to see what motivates or frustrates them. By addressing your prospect's latest social activity, you'll be able to respond or connect with relevance. So let's say you want to just connect with somebody online, you see their Facebook messages or tweets, you can ride on their existing tweets and engage them in a conversation based on what they're talking about. So track and follow, I know it sounds a little eerie, your prospects and see what they're thinking about in their social media posts, right? See what they're thinking about. Shine online. When you're on a call, it's highly likely, let's say you're making a cold call, it's highly likely that your prospect is stalling to search your online reputation. So you might call somebody and they'll be at their desk and online at the time you call them. You might be surprised to know that they're probably doing a little bit of a Google check on you, right? So make sure you shine online. What will your prospect find if they do a Google search on you? So make sure that your online profiles, your website, your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook profile, your Twitter profile is up to snuff. It's up to par. It's current. It's relevant, and it's in good shape. Because imagine if like somebody you're calling does a little background check as you're calling, and they can make a decision based on what they see about you online. If your online presence, is out of date and stale, you might not get in. So that's just a little tip. Also, the post-call phase is the most important one for success. The average salesperson only makes 2 attempts to reach a prospect according to Sirius Decisions. I think it's about 4, actually. The Market Donut reported that 80% of sales require 5 follow-up phone calls. 5. Never mind 5 follow-up phone calls. Then you got to try and send them a letter, maybe a mailing, maybe an email, maybe invite them to your networking event, right? So now you're up to like 9. So those contacts help the buyer commit to the relationship. So reach out using social media and in person when possible to keep them as repeat buyers and sources for ongoing referrals. So don't give up so fast, I know rejection is probably really painful for a lot of us. It's like, right? That's why we don't like to cold call or get out there and network. A lot of us feel uncomfortable going to networking events. Get out and don't give up. My rule of thumb is I don't give up until, I get a cease and desist letter from the lawyer of my client, or I get thrown out the door. Either one. Usually the cease and desist letter works better. The other important thing when you're, with your social media is if you are online, it's not the early bird that catches the worm. It's the bird with the most active contact channels. So buyers that you contact through a cold call might prefer to communicate with you over the phone, a direct message on Twitter, LinkedIn, or LinkedIn Mail. And this is according to InsideSales.com. They reported that 35 to 50% of sales go to the first person who responds to a query. So keep your digital ears open to close more deals. What do you think of that? Yeah, so when you're online, you can't be online. I wouldn't be online all day. I'm not recommending that. You got to make your calls. You got to be out networking. You got to be servicing your customers, doing the work. But when you are online, be more strategic about it. And this is another strategy you can employ in your social selling. Also, go deeper. Make your call to the right person, right? Like go down the. I always say when you're in seeing a client, walk down the hall, see who else is there. Who else can you sell to, right? So just there's a possibility that there might be other buyers within a company who want what you have, right? So really, really important to do that. And yeah, um, so some tips there to help you master social selling a little bit more. I got some homework though for you. Okay, this week is not without some work. I want you to think of your top 3 clients and what do you know about them now? You know, we talked about researching, understanding your clients, seeing what they're thinking, what they're tweeting, and what they're writing about. So, what do you know about your top 3 clients now? How does knowing information about your top 3 clients help you facilitate the sales process? Well, I'm going to challenge you to come up with 3 new bits of information that you want to know about these 3 clients. If you don't know enough about them, what are some other things you'd like to learn and understand about your clients? And then your challenge this week is to call 3 of your best clients and book a planning session with them. It could be a coffee meeting, it could be a little bit of a lunch, or it could just be a little planning session with them and meet to discuss their needs for the year ahead, their wants, their goals, their budgets, and find out how can you serve these clients and prospects even better. So this is due for next week. Is that cool? Is everybody cool on this? A little bit of work, but I'll tell you, this is going to help you. This is a great time of year. I find January, February a really good time of year to do this, right? To book planning sessions, annual planning sessions with your clients to help them get the results they want this year. And, you know, the new year is a good time of year to do that, right? So you can meet them and get clear on where they're going, what's their direction, and how can you help them throughout the year. Not just now. Yeah, would we like the business right after Christmas? For sure. But help them throughout the year. Help them in the times that they have some plans. Any questions? Okay, let's forge ahead. We got more content. This is a pretty power-packed class today. So what do we say to hook a client at an event? Let's say you go to a networking event. What are you going to say? How many of you have that little elevator pitch? Anybody have that elevator pitch? I'm going to teach you a method that could get you some really cool results. Are you open to that? Nadia writes, we are about to begin some cold calling. Do you think the first call should be a survey to see if they fit? Not at all, Nadia. Your first call should be about sharing the benefits and the value of your offering to see if those benefits, like those things that you're going to do to improve your client's life or business, is something that they want. Now, a survey is very different from a cold call. So if you are doing a survey, it's a very different approach, Nadia. You're just focusing on the survey. You're not selling anybody, right? So you want to ask your client if they have, or prospect, if they have time to do a survey for you. So don't confuse the two, okay? Really, they're very different, and the approach is very different. So if you want to rock it this year when you go to your networking events and you want to stand out, okay, so now, okay, before I go on to this material, people, Nadia is one of the participants on the call, and she's a bit confused. We don't know if the client fits. And so, Nadia, you've got to do the research ahead of time to see if they do fit. So what I would do is I would do the research survey first, and in the research survey, determine whether or not they'd, like to hear from you in the future. Okay? And then in the future, find out when, and then mark it down to call them. It won't be a cold call then. It would be more of a, hey, we're just following up. All right? Sometimes you don't even know if the client does need your stuff when you're calling. I find that to be true. But you want to find out whether or not, you want to find out, are they using somebody now? Are they open to the possibility of what you can do for them? Would they be open to a new supplier or vendor? You might not even know if they have somebody that they're already using. Would they be open to an alternative? So I think you've got to, like when you make a call, you have, as Sally Hogshead just said, you have 9 seconds on the phone. 9 seconds. If you're calling somebody on a cold call to, try and get that meeting with them, then you got 9 seconds. You're not doing a survey in 9 seconds. What you want, though, is you want to get in the door, get a meeting with them, or get a chance to meet them. And what I do in my step 3 of the 6-step sales process is I do a discovery session. And it's then that I'll ask them questions, Nadia. I'll ask them questions about their business, the challenges, some of the issues they face, what their budgets are, what their plans are. So that's where I do a little bit of, I wouldn't call it a survey per se, but I do ask questions to get clear as to where the client's at. Do they have a need for my services? If there is a need, would they be open then to working with me? And then I'd go back to my office and I develop a proposal or some sort of a quote or presentation, and then I go back in and I deliver it. Does that answer your question? I hope. All right, I'm going to go back to this, right? So if you want to get really good results at your networking events, here's a really cool, compelling way to start a conversation at a networking event that's going to get people's attention. And it kind of goes like this. Do you know when? You state a problem. So do you know when you're looking for older files on your computer or in your office and the time it takes to do that? So right away, you're coming across totally different from everybody else at that networking event. And then the second part to creating a great conversation is, well, what we do is, so here's how it would kind of sound. Do you know when you're looking for older files in your office or on your computer and the time it takes to do that? What we do is we've developed both an online and offline organizing system that's easy to use, cost effective, and will save you both time and money. If you want to achieve this in your business, then that's what we do. And this is a very different approach at a networking event. You'll rarely hear people use this sort of methodology. But what it does is it qualifies the people in the room. So you've got to understand, not everybody's going to want what you got, right? And the people in the room that want this are going to go, oh my God, they're talking my language. My file system's a mess. Or I've got, all these files on my computer. I got to clean them up. And yeah, the time I waste to find old files it kills me, right? So the right people are going to come to you. So I want you to take a moment just to work on this. This is your elevator pitch. Take a moment just to work on this, all right? Yeah. All right, good, Natty. I'm glad that helped you. Stay tuned. The next few classes are going to, touch on that for sure. But take a moment, people on the line, to work on your elevator pitch. Do you know when? What's the key problem your clients have? And what do you do? What do you do to solve it? Just take a moment. I'm here. Okay, another moment on this. And then I want you to write down your answers or speak them out. Boy, I can unmute you. Okay, another 30 seconds on this. Do you know when? State a problem. Really keep it simple and keep it short. Remember, you got 9 seconds. And you know when people drone on at a networking event, you lose it, right? You lose the attention. This is going to make you stand out, and it's going to differentiate you from everybody else in the room when they're doing their little info messages at the beginning. Guaranteed. Okay, we got some answers here. Shelley writes, DYK managers who are not properly trained can be a huge liability. We educate managers on critical skills to manage and lead their people by offering training and coaching support. That's cool, Shelley. What's the end result that they get, though? What does that, coaching and training support do? Nadia writes, did you know that the average person on a diet some blank times in their lifetime, or we diet probably every year. We make it easier for people to eat healthy and stay healthy and energized for the long haul. Maybe add some more action words there, Nadia. That's why I added that. Oh, the average person goes on a diet blank times in their lifetime. I think it's like, I'd like to know the number, Nadia. Yeah. Anybody else want to share? I can unmute you if you just throw your hand up. I can unmute you if you want. No problem if you want to share in person. I think I lost Mike. Anyway, all right. Work on this. Here's another. Okay, somebody else. Oh, here's Mike. Do you know when people suffer from concussions, they do not know what to do or who to see? And that's what I do. I teach you how to treat Anne. It stopped at Anne. But that's good, Mike. I got it. Like, you're really focusing on helping people heal from concussions. Yeah, Natty, you got to do the research for sure. Do you know when your aging parent leaves the stove on? Jacqueline writes. Yeah, we teach you, Mike writes, we teach you on education about how to treat your concussion. Yeah, no kidding. That's amazing, especially for athletes. So this is a good way to attract attention, right? Especially at networking events. That guy there is on the call today. That's Mr. Larry. You recognize the back of your head, Larry? All right. So here's a couple rules. That's kind of scary, and this is why you want to try that methodology at networking events. You know that only 3% of the population wants what you have at any given time. So when you get on the phone and you're prospecting, you're going, yeah, I get no results. People don't buy from me. They don't want to see me. It's because of this. It's not personal. It's because only 3% of the world's population wants what you have. So you're hoping that everybody you're going to call wants what you have. 7% of the world's population are thinking about it. They're in the market for it, right? And they might buy something. I might get that new lawnmower next year. Not right now, but next year, right? So that means 90% of the people you're talking to on an ongoing basis at a networking event, conference, on the phone, not even interested in what it is you do. So what does that mean to you? It means you're going to have to stand out. It means you're going to have to, make yourself a little bit more fascinating to your market. That's what it means. And that methodology that we just taught of do you know when and what we do is great because it's going to help you stand out and differentiate yourself at a networking event. Excellent. Terry writes, when you get a customer complaints, it's generally negative experience for them and for you. I help reduce the number of customer complaints, and when they do happen, I turn them into a positive experience so they can become references for you. That's awesome, Terry. I haven't had, thank God, too many customer complaints, but I now know who I'm going to call on if I do, for sure. Now I'm going to have you work on your opening statement. This is what you would say on a cold call, okay? And I want you to work on this for a couple minutes. And it's really simple. It's not far off the mark of what you just did. State who you are, where you're from, your company name. What do you do? Well, what do we do in simple terms? We make ice cream, or we sell shoes. What are the benefits? What are 1 to 2 benefits? So Nadia, this is what you need to work on here. What are 1 to 2 benefits of your product or service? So I'm a business coach. I help customers. I do sales training. I help customers increase their sales up to 10% each year. If that's a result that you'd like, then I'd love the opportunity to meet with you, right? That's the benefit. I help you actually increase your sales. How many of you would like that this year, right? That's why you're on the call. So share 1 to 2 benefits and then end with engaging questions. If that's a result that you'd like for your business, then I'd like to see if we can meet. How's next Tuesday at 2? So I want you to work on that. So it's just like, hi, my name is David Cohen. I run a company called the Boomer Business Coach, and we do sales and marketing training to help our customers increase their business. In fact, we help them increase it up to 10% each year. So if that's a result that you'd like for yourself, I'd love the opportunity to meet with you. How would it be for us to get together next Tuesday at 2? So that's what you would say on a cold call. So I want you to work on that for a minute. We might go about a couple minutes over today. I hope you're okay with that. But work on that now for a couple minutes. I should have music in the background as you're working. Just zipping up my day timer. Hopefully you're working on this. One more minute. Okay, let's hear from a few of you. Mike writes, my name is Mike Rothstein from Podium Performance, and I treat and educate individuals and teams about concussions and soft tissue injuries. The benefits to what I do is to show you how to minimize injuries, decrease loss of playing time, and improve overall team strength and fitness. If this is a kind of result you'd like for your players and your team, then I'd like to speak with you, further. And then you would ask for a time commitment, Mike. So that's pretty good, man. That's really good. Anybody else want to share theirs? Okay, I got one more. Nope. Mike just says thanks. You're welcome, man. Good job. So homework this week. Work on this. Work on it. Right? Nadia writes, Nadia of Northern, we make it easy for you to eat healthy by bringing the healthiest foods right to your door at costs that are lower than retail. Is this a good time to, that's that kind of question. Is this a good time to show you how? You're going to probably hear no. So Nadia, you got to focus more on the benefits. What are the benefits of eating healthy? right? So you remember we talked about pain and pleasure? What's the pain for not eating healthy? High sugar levels, risk of diabetes, um, salt intake affecting your blood pressure, right? Um, People find it sort of time consuming to make healthier foods, right? Case in point, go to a gas station on your way home tonight and look at the food choices they have for you, right? Nobody is selling carrot sticks and celery at a gas station. Oh, but a chocolate bar and a bag of chips, they're on special. That's real easy to do, right? Just grab a bag of chips and there you go. So, you're also like, so there's health issues that you're helping people who have busy lives, not lose sight of the fact that they have to take care of their health. So that to me is more of a benefit, Nadia. All right. So get juicy, get right in there, right? What's the pain? What's the concern? I got a busy life. I work 10 hours a day. I commute, right? By the time I'm home, I'm too tired to make something. So I'm gonna defer to cheap and unhealthy, right? I'm gonna go grab a McDonald's burger on the way home. It's easy, right? It's easy. I just go through the drive-thru. I don't even have to get out of my car. But now you got a healthy option when you come home. So, you can love your body and love your health. Does that make sense? Terry writes, Terry says, my company is TCMC Quality Management Services. We consult in quality management systems and services. I help organizations implement quality management standards such as ISO 9001. Terry, I like that you do that, but remember, you're speaking to the average person and they don't know what ISO 9001 is. So you really got to get some of that technical stuff out and really focus on the benefits to the customers. Okay? So and also shorten it down a little bit, dude. It's pretty long. Remember you got 9 seconds, right? It's a little longer than 9 seconds. Ruth writes, my name is Ruth Rattan from Ruth Rattan Associates. I'm a diabetes educator and foot care educator. I train nurses in foot care to add value to the skills that nurses are able to provide their clients. Also, you're probably adding extra revenue opportunities too, Ruth. The program that I offer is well recognized nationally and will provide value to your organization, your team, and your bottom line. Okay, Terry's saying I'm not speaking to the average person. Still, shorten it down a little bit, dude, and a bit more verbs, more like, what are you going to do for people? All right. But I got, okay, so now that you say you're not speaking to the average person, then they might understand ISO 9001. So I'm sorry if I insulted you. I didn't mean to. Just that's kind of what came up when I saw that. Okay, I'm kind of going on the fly here a little bit. Karen writes, I'm Karen of Redwood Marketing. We're a full service marketing communications company that works with our clients to help them determine what makes them different from their competition and how to best communicate those differences and stand out to the right market and audience. If you're interested in growing your business, we're here to help you achieve your goals. That's beautiful. Good, some good scripts. So what I want you to do is just practice them this week, right? Practice them. Now, when you're doing these, just remember, when you're doing your cold call, expect to be told no to. And don't take it personally. It's not personal at all. It's just, it's like, remember what we said, 3% of the population wants what you have, 7% thinking about it. And if you expect somebody to totally get you in 10 seconds that you have, good luck with that. So remember, no means I don't know. I don't know enough about you to be able to make a decision right now, or I'm just not ready. So don't take no personally, ever, ever. Get prepared. Practice your script. Know who you're going to call on. Make a contact list of possible prospects. Research that contact list. Find out something about them so you can relate better to them. Another rule of thumb is call on people you know first. Ask your family and friends and past business associates for referrals. Don't ask them for the business. So if your family gave you a referral, then you call, let's say your Uncle Joe says, yeah, call my friend Bob. Hey, Bob, my Uncle Joe. Oh yeah, Joe. So there's a connection, right? So ask for referrals from people you know, and call them the businesses you want to work with, because that'll make you stand out. So here's some more homework for you. I know you're gonna kill me. This is a true story. I got in a cab in New York. I asked the cab driver, "How do I get to Carnegie Hall?" And he replied, "Practice, practice, practice." I know you're groaning. So I want you to practice your scripts on 5 people this week. Maybe prospects, friends, family, a buddy. Ask for feedback on how you can improve those scripts that you just did, okay? So practice them. Because people buy with their hearts, not their minds. That's Peter Drucker. We're done. And next week, we're going to look at writing your core story, connecting to your ideal customers. We're going to look at the discovery phase, asking good questions, and we're going to look at the presentation. Any questions at all? If you need, email me. I'll send you the material. If you've missed anything, just email me. I did send a group email. I hope you got it. I really do. Because I'm having trouble with my email, as I said, so I hope you got it. I sent a group email on Saturday. Matthew writes, just to close off, his scripting goes, I'm Matthew from MRG Financial Solutions. We help busy business owners straighten out their books while they grow their business. Our customers benefit from knowing who owes them what and how much. I'd like to meet with you to see how your business can benefit from using your service. I'd even add another comment there, Matthew. I'd like to meet with you to show you how we can make you more money this year and save on things that you might not be aware of. How would it be for us to meet next Tuesday at 2? Right? Give them a time. So I'd add that at the end. But that's really good, Matthew. Thanks, man. Thank you, Terry. And thanks, Mike, for your nice comments. And that wraps up today's session. So we'll be back next week and the week after. Have a really good week. This is where you get a hold of me. Thank you. I'm going to, just thank everybody. Sam and Philip and Pauline and Lisa and Larry and, who else? Sierra and Helen and Charlotte and Angela and Amanda and Mike and Matthew and Linda and Karen and Jacqueline and Azita. Thank you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful week.